All right. So we're going to take a look at the properties quiz. We have 10 questions on this one, and then we're going to look at the second version, okay? Because there's 10 more there, but some of them are repeats. First up, this one says if x equals y, and then it has y again. But y doesn't equal x anymore, y equals 3. And then there's a third statement, and what they've done is they took out the y's. Do you notice that? It had a y there and a y there, but this one doesn't have any y's. It just cut from x to 3. That's what we call the transitive property. Piece of cake? I'm going to switch to the ocean one for you. Next up, we have Michael wrote these steps. Now, these are steps, so we obviously know that his first step is going to be given. So after he does his first step, he's going to say, what did he do between step 2 and step 3? So what changed from here to here?
Additive property of equality.
That's right. It added 10 to both sides. What a lot of people miss on this one is they look at it and they're like, oh, it just moved the negative 10 to the other side, right? But that's not what happened. They actually added 10 to both sides.
Is it additive in?
So is it the additive identity or additive inverse?
Inverse.
It's additive inverse. What would the additive identity mean?
They added 1.
Actually, when you add 0. Because the identity means we didn't really change anything. It stayed who it was. And so if we add 0, that would be the identity. Next up, which property should be used to solve this? Well, this is only a one-stepper. What's our one step to solve this equation? Add 3, right? Well, what is our equation? Add 3. It's going to be the additive property of equality. Straightforward? Catherine wrote the first step. The first, she's going to have given, and then after given, now there's no parentheses there. So does that mean it's associative? Because associative, I remember, has to do with parentheses. Distributive. It's not associative, because if it was associative, we'd still have parentheses. Distributive destroys parentheses. That's what it does. And I want you to notice, too, that a lot of people got caught up on the fact that that's now a plus 5. And they go, oh, no, that negative 5 turned to a plus 5. How'd that happen? Well, how'd the negative 5 turn into a plus 5? Because the negative out here is being distributed. So what people forget is they forget they have to distribute the negative to both of those, not just the x. So it actually cancels out the negative 5 to make it positive 5. Number 5, what is the solution? This is just to straight up solve this equation. This isn't really even about properties, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to put the x's on the right, or do you want to put them on the left?
Left, because that's where they're
We'll go left. That's where they're supposed to be. That's where they belong. I'm going to do minus 5x, minus 5x. So the first thing I do is I get all my x's on the left. Now I have negative 3x minus 3 equals negative 18. Okay, now I've got all my x's on the left, but I still got other stuff over there too. The easiest thing to deal with, is it the negative 3 right there or the negative 3 right there? Which one's easier to deal with? The one that's just minus 3, because all we'd have to do is add 3 to both sides. If we add 3 to both sides, now we have negative 3x equals negative 15. And so I can divide by negative 3, and I get x equals positive 5. Number 6. Number 6 says, which one is an example of the symmetric property? The symmetric property. Ooh, that's a tough one.
It's F because
I thought symmetric was when it's the same on both sides, because it's symmetric.
Reflexive.
You're right. That's actually the reflexive. That one right there is reflexive.
Isn't
Okay.
that property, this question, isn't this question on the last quiz?
Yeah, this was on the test from Friday as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, because we just did that.
The reflexive property is where it's equal to itself, but the symmetric property is where we swap the sides. Okay, so that's what happens there in F. Number 7, which property is this? S, and then it's got a dot, and then a 1. What do you think?
The property of
It's definitely identity because it stays itself, and it's the identity property of multiplication. That's perfect. They do something. I said do. They do something because it's not just S equals X. S equals S. Otherwise, it would be the reflexive property. Number 8.
I'm not here. I have 2 more questions, but I have to go.
I'm in the middle of this. Can we talk about it right after? Which property guarantees that the second equation is equivalent to the first? What changed between these two lines?
It was 6x plus 7. Now it's 7 plus 6.
They switched the order. The order changed. Did the two sides change?
No, just
No, the order on one side. Did they distribute? No, there's no parentheses. Did they add to both sides or something? Did they change the parentheses? The only thing left is actually the commutative property of addition. In other words, commutative property means we change the order. And what order are we changing? We're changing the order we added those two in. Number 9, 6a equals 6a is the reflexive. The identity property, that's cheating. That one actually doesn't exist. It would have to say the identity property of multiplication or the identity property of addition, but the identity property alone is not a thing. Number 10, last one. We don't actually have to solve it. We just have to say what changed. If we look at the left and right, did the order change? What changed? It's 3, 5, 2, and it's 3, 5, 2. The only thing that changes is the parentheses, which means associative property. Is it the associative property of multiplication or addition? Addition. Which means our answer is J. Any questions? Awesome.